Hello, this is Gilles Mansillon. I send greetings and blessings. I wanted to greet you and to wish you a wonderful day. I hope all is well. For all is always well. It is just sometimes we have to go through certain process, because life is a process that sometimes take us away from that feeling of joy, happiness, fulfillment. Because also now, and I wanted to speak briefly about astrology, there is a conjunction with the sun and the south node of the moon, and so all of our past life, past memory, even of this life, is being very emphasized in relationship to what we need to let go, what we do not want. Although those things will vanish by themselves, it requires some efforts, because Mercury is here to translate all that understanding. Neptune and Chiron are also here to offer the new potential and the healing and the energy for that. I wanted to wish a happy birthday to all the Pisces. For Pisces are very good to see the unity in all things. But in that sense, that they feel separated from. It's a paradox, because it makes them feel separated from everybody else, because they know that not everybody, that other people do not see that unity. So there is. We all have every sign within our chart, so it is. But we have more frequency of certain constellation than others. Personally, I'm a Pisces, ascendant Pisces, so it's something I do understand fairly well. We have this solar eclipse coming on the 26th, so it will be a really wonderful time to give us the ability to create some release in terms of we have to trust and we have to let go, we have to trust, and that will help greatly. The more because the eclipse are really helping to remove all kinds of things from. They remove everything else, they eclipse everything else. So it is a time where higher self is able to shift and change things within us, which will prepare us for the equinox on March 21st, and then by Easter, I have a feeling on a personal level that by Easter I will be ready to be on a completely new level, a different level, different plateau. Also in this time that we are now, we have Uranus, the awakener, and Mars that are coming in conjunction really soon. So do not be too rushed in your whatever impulse you have. Just make sure it is intuitively, it is connected with the intuition in Pisces, because this Aries Mars, this conjunction of Uranus and Mars will be very powerful. It is opposing Jupiter, so it's like it can be a lot of change can happen, but you want to know that your actions will lead you to where you want to go. So just don't think without don't act without thinking. Think about what you're going to do before you do it. Although spontaneity is good, you have to. When we're given a situation, an opportunity, we want to move into things. But when we come to our own decision in relationship to our plans, we want our plans to be intelligent as much as possible. Because in essence what we want to do is to advance, and in order to advance I've always enjoyed to follow the teachings of the Buddha. For that it's part of my soul connection, and so there is the 8 ways of rectitude. First is the right view, the right perception, then the right thought, the right words, the right action, the right life, the right efforts, the right knowledge, and the right meditation. All those things we have to perfect in order to achieve a state of liberation, like the lucidity and serenity, like achieving the nirvana, the 5th dimension. For Osho said, life begins when fear ends. So we do want to put an end to fear in order to have the ability to live fully the life that we came to live here. For that is very, very important. Yeah, I'm gonna read some cards for the just maybe I'm going to do a chakra reading. So it's I'm going to read the 7 major chakras of of the physical body, as it connects to the astrology. For astrology, I do believe it's very, very potent and powerful science, because it allows us to make prediction or prepare for some things, because we know what the planet, what certain interaction between planets, what are the effect on the collective of human consciousness. So by looking at a chart ahead of time, we are maybe able to perceive some of, to foresee some of those events, but do not project too much in time, unless you want to know, like you have a trip planned in a year from now, or a surgical operation or something like that. You want to check it out maybe, and then look at it in relationship to your own chart. But in mainly, it's good to. I feel it's good to live in the present, to be as much present as possible. So it is the energy of now. Whatever we look in the future, by the time we get into the future, our perception may be totally different. So I think it's wise to be as close as possible to what is going on now. Although all that is because while we are living in time through sequential time, we feel like whatever we lived goes into the memory file, but it's forgotten, and then the future is uncertain. So there is a great deal of unknown within that sequential linear time-space experience. Yet consciousness will arrive at a point where we will be at the eternal now, and once we reach that point of eternal now, we are able to review our memory for every thought, every action, every word, every experience we've ever had has been recorded in a holographic fashion within our DNA, and so we'll be able to put those things in perspective and take a life review. For that is really what is potentially happening right now with this South Node Sun conjunction. A lot of things from memory may surface, may come back. So I'm going to do this reading. For me, everybody's got different ideas about that. I'm just sharing my own perception. But the root chakra is ruled by Pluto, the transforming power. It is the black hole. We go through that every time we lose consciousness. When we go to sleep, we go through that black hole, and then we emerge back in the morning. So that is one of the great mystery. What do we do when we sleep? But the gap will fill eventually. So in this root base we have Isis, the high priestess. So it is really much at the root. The root is the essence of all where energies come from, and so it is the card of intuition. Intuition will tell you that the deeper you go, the more profound the discovery will be. But not all things can be revealed at once. You want to continue to follow your intuition, with balance it out with your reason. There is always an harmonization of both that has to happen. For Mars and Venus are the divine masculine and the divine feminine, the sexual will. Those two planets are complementary, and they will meet in the sky. They're almost going to meet here in Aries, but Venus is going to go. Mars is going to keep going forward, but Venus is going to move retrograde. They will meet on October 5th in Virgo. What's funny is that Venus, for me, is going into an exact conjunction with my natal chart. It means it's returning in Aries, where it was in my natal chart, and on the day of my birthday, it's going retrograde into Pisces. It's going towards Pisces, and so that may create a very powerful shift. Not really sure yet. So the second chakra is the navel, the sacral chakra. It is the earth plane, and it is governed by Saturn. Here we have high tension, so we got to release those tension. Those tensions are really it's like we need a storm, and once the storm comes, it's just everything returns back to normal. So you have to breathe, you have to let go, you have to trust, and then from there you find liberation. You find blow your mind. It's the release of tension that you are looking for, and so. It doesn't mean that those things of the earth are not meaningful and important, but there is no need to stress about it. There is the only way to address them is to be lucid, to be serene in order to address those things, and for that we need to take a step back. We need to breathe out all those dysfunction, those chaos. Those are just mental, this part of the karma of the planet, and so, but we all have our own different karma. We have to understand it, embrace it, transcend it, transmute it. And that is what is happening in a power center. The power center is a solar plexus, it's ruled by Jupiter, and here we have cutting through. Cutting through means knowing where the line has to be drawn, and so it is different for each and every one of us, but there is a lot of things that we need to redraw in terms of line, and that is also what's going on in the world. Then there is the heart center, which is the first three chakras are creative chakra. The heart chakra is neutral, and the three upper chakras are receptive, and the heart is the balancing energy, and it is ruled by the sun. Here we have the Holocaust, which is a deep transformation, a total transformation of society, of all kinds of things. So we have to allow this great change to happen. It is the only way. So it is the time to find peace, to find healing, to give ourselves a break, to give ourselves time to find that new energy, and then we find the center of the universe, the Mount Meru, because there is always this inner center that is always still. For part of that experience here is always in all realm of time and space. There is constant change. There is no permanence. Everything is constantly in transformation. But as we reconnect to our soul and spirit, we find this inner center where everything is eternally still, where everything is perfect, and we learn to return to that whenever we need, because it is something that we need to cultivate, our ability to go into a trance, to go into this place of well-being within ourselves in ever deeper and greater capacity, and eventually we'll find the center of the universe. We will not rest until we find what we're looking for, and what we're ultimately looking for is the return to source. For ascension will happen before that, but it's part of the process. Essentially, is to return to the true source of all that is, which is a universe that is far grander than anything we can even think or believe or suspect. Let's say. Then we have our fifth chakra, which is ruled by Chiron. It is our communication center. It is also the home of our I am presence. And here we have totally banana. It's being totally banana it means to be ridiculous in all things. So it is okay to be ridiculous in all things. If you need to be ridiculous, just be ridiculous. There is no. It's part of the process to let yourself go a little bit, to ease up a little bit, and not to in order not to accumulate all this pressure here. Then we have the sixth chakra, which is the sixth and seventh chakra, the most important in this type of reading. And here we have slay the ego. I mean, wow, this is ruled by Neptune, the realm of vision, the realm of dream. And here it's clearly the ego is not being is the hangman in typical in traditional tarot. And so it is very much about letting go of those things that are completely dysfunctional, that we have no need, and prevents us from feeling joy and happiness. Once we let go of those fear that prevents us, we find the Fool, we find freedom, we find the ability to be everywhere, to feel everything, to feel more, to be more, to share more, to love more. And on the crown, which is ruled by Uranus, the awakener, we have this card, which is mean and heavy. And the message of the card is that it says, do not be mean and heavy. Even if the world is mean and heavy, even if others are mean and heavy, do not be mean and heavy. Be gentle, be kind, be light. And so, because when we seek freedom, we've been living in a world that's been so polarized that all kinds of dark things can happen, can manifest, can show themselves. The key to that is to be able to approach it from a perception of wisdom, of light and love, and so not to be judgmental on yourself or on others, to allow yourself to move through that, and then you discover the power of Mercury, the power of the magician. It's a very, very powerful energy that opens up, and then the light body will unfold from there. But there will be it will be a process, and we have to work through that process in order to every day try to adjust, to upgrade, to better the quality of our life, find new ways, new things that could bring into our experience those things that our soul is looking to embrace, to experience. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.